Good evening. Fights among teens spark pepper balls from police. An officer gets punched in the face. This weekend, that's what was happening in downtown Omaha. Tonight, the police union is demanding city leaders have a conversation they've been avoiding about whether a curfew is the only answer left. First Alert 6's Brenna Kiefner joins us live in the studio with some of their concerns. Brenna?
Yeah, Brian, this is now 2 weekends in a row of just chaos at Gene Leahy Mall. And tonight, the officers who responded say they are done waiting for someone to act. Today, families, sunshine, the park working exactly as designed. 48 hours ago, it was a different picture. Police flooded Gene Leahy Mall on Saturday night. Fights broke out. Crowds refused to leave. Officers declared an unlawful assembly and deployed pepper balls. One officer was punched in the face. The police union says the same thing was behind all of it.
A large number of juveniles are coming down there on the weekends, unaccompanied, with no parents in sight, and raising hell in our city. Multiple fights, to the point where now we have to clear everybody out for their safety.
Those officers didn't just watch from a distance.
These officers run towards these fights, run in the middle of them, and take whoever they need to into custody. And sometimes they do get spit on, kicked, or hit, breaking up the fight. But some of these incidents that we're seeing now are where people who are not involved in the incidents are now fighting with police, trying to obstruct them from actually breaking up the fights.
2 weekends, the same scene. Dempsey says it's time for a real conversation about what comes next.
It starts a conversation of what a curfew could be, right? I think everybody would agree that something has to happen. Whether we shut the park down, whether there's a curfew, whether we make an ordinance, whatever it may be, but I think those real conversations need to happen.
And while he waits for that conversation with city leaders, Dempsey isn't done talking.
My message to parents is take accountability for your children. Don't allow your children to go down to downtown Omaha unaccompanied and ruin it for everybody in this city. You as a parent have a responsibility to take accountability for your child.
Now, the Omaha Police Officers Association has said it has not had formal discussions with city leaders yet about a curfew or park ordinance, but Dempsey says those conversations need to start now. We reached out to the Omaha Police Department as well as Mayor Ewing's office, but did not hear back today. But until then, his officers will keep showing up to the same fight weekend after weekend. Live in the studio, Brenna Kiefner, First Alert 6.
Yeah, I can see why the union's getting frustrated. Let us know if you hear back from the city leaders.